You ever stop and wonder how the massive, complex apps you use every single day don't just, well, fall apart? Today we're going to explore the simple, kind of elegant idea that holds our digital world together. And we're going to do it without getting lost in all the technical jargon.
I mean, really think about that for a second. When you're using your favorite app, you're using something built by huge teams of people, sometimes scattered all over the world. So how does all of that complexity, all that human effort, come together into something that actually works? How does it not just collapse under its own weight? Well, the answer starts with an idea we all kind of get. Before you can build a skyscraper, you need a plan, right? You need a clear, shared understanding of what you're building, what the major parts are, and exactly how they fit together. You need a blueprint.
So, let's dive into our first big idea. In the world of software, this blueprint has a more official name. It's called a model.
A model isn't the final software, any more than a blueprint is the actual building. It's a simplified drawing, an abstraction. Its whole job is to strip away all the overwhelming details so we can just focus on the big picture. It's all about helping us think clearly and really understand the problem we're trying to solve before we get totally lost in writing the code.
And you know, there's even a standard language for these blueprints. This quote here really nails it. It mentions UML, the Unified Modeling Language. You can just think of it as the universal set of symbols that software architects use to draw their plans. It makes sure every developer, every builder is looking at the same thing and knows exactly what needs to be built.
And that's really the magic of a model. It's that moment of deliberate simplicity. Before you dive into a sea of code, you just pause, you take a breath, and you look at the problem through this lens. And suddenly, all that tangled mess starts to look like a clear, manageable shape. And that clarity? That is the first and maybe the most important step in building something that's actually going to last.
Okay, so if we zoom in a little closer on this software blueprint, what does it actually show us? What are the key details? Well, it really just comes down to two things: the pieces and the connections between them.
This is what's known as a structural model, and its whole focus is on the static organization. Think of it just like the floor plan of a house. It shows you the rooms, the kitchen, the living room. Those are the main components. And it shows you the hallways and doorways that connect them. Those are the relationships. It's a snapshot, a fixed map of the system's structure. This table here does a fantastic job of laying this out. On one side, you've got the structural model. That's our blueprint. It's static, like that fixed floor plan, and it's all about answering the question, what are the pieces? But on the other side, you've got something called a behavioral model. That's more like the story of the house, how people actually move through it, what they do. It's dynamic, and it answers what happens when. Now, both of these are super important, but today we're really just focusing on that solid foundation, the structural blueprint.
Let's just sit with that for a second. This isn't just about planning, it's about foresight. It's that quiet confidence you get from seeing the basic shape of the system in your mind, clear and simple, long before it's a real thing. It's about building from a place of understanding, not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
And you know, that brings us to the real why behind all this. These blueprints aren't just technical diagrams for one person to stare at. Their most important job by far is to help people work together. They are, first and foremost, tools for teamwork. So why do they matter so much? Well, the reasons are pretty human. First, as you see here, blueprints create a common language. The project manager, the coder, the client, they can all point to the same drawing and be on the same page. Second, they force you to think about those really critical decisions early on, when fixing a mistake is as easy as erasing a line, not rewriting 1,000 lines of code. And finally, they do something that's kind of magical. They take a huge, complex system and make it small enough to hold and to understand inside your head.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? The blueprint is an enabler for communication. It's not about drawing boxes and lines. It's about creating a shared understanding so that a whole team of people can build something great together.
And that's the beautiful result. The blueprint becomes more than just some technical document. It becomes this focal point, a campfire that the whole team can gather around. It gives everyone that moment of shared clarity, where everybody sees the same goal, the same simple picture of what they're trying to build.
So let's try to bring this idea into our own lives. Because once you start thinking in terms of blueprints, you start to see them everywhere, kind of hidden in plain sight, right beneath the surface of the technology you use.
Here's a simple little thing to try. Next time you open an app on your phone, just for a second, try to imagine its blueprint. What are the main components, the main rooms? Is there a profile section, a newsfeed, a settings page? And how are they connected? What are the hallways that let you move between them? You'll start to see the hidden architecture in everything.
And that brings us to a final thought. It's so easy to think of structure as something that restricts you, that boxes in creativity, but that's not it at all. A solid foundation doesn't limit what you can build. It's the very thing that makes it possible to build higher. It's the stable ground that gives creativity the confidence it needs to really soar. Thanks for listening.